Hey guys, welcome to Ben Wrenchin. My name's Ben and today I'm wrenching on my 94 Chevy K1500. Today I'm working on upgrading the headlights on this truck. The old school halogen bulbs in these are not very bright, so I'm going to be upgrading to some LED headlights today. I've got the low beams and the high beams from a company called Auxito. I'll link these in the description as well as some discount codes. You can get them from their website or on Amazon. But I've tried a few different options and nothing that I've been happy with so far, so I'm excited to try these out. I'm going to run through real quick all the different options that I've tried. I'll show you how I'll install these, and hopefully these will check all the boxes that I've been trying to check with my headlights. So to start with, you've got your standard halogen lights. I got some of these just to put back in to show you how bright those are and compare the difference between those and the LEDs. Those are really not that bright and they've got that yellowish tint to them. The color on these LEDs that I got are called xenon white. I did try out an assortment of cheap LED bulbs, including the ones that I've got in the truck right now. So this is a set of cheap LED bulbs that I settled on, and these work fine, but there are a couple of problems I have with them. One is that these are the bulbs that are actually supposed to go in the brights. I put those in the low beam bulb sockets because the low beam ones were just not bright enough, and I also had to add an external capacitor to those, and I don't really like this just hanging out in here. So I don't like having high beam bulbs where the low beams are supposed to go. I don't like having a capacitor that gets really hot. I measured that thing and it topped off just over 300 degrees, and I just don't like the feeling of having something in my electrical system that gets that hot. So these have worked fine. The low beams are now as bright as the high beams with halogen bulbs, and so what I really wanted was something that's brighter than these standard halogen bulbs, but does not have to have an extra capacitor like these cheap LED bulbs. And so when Auxito sent me these, I like them because they're really plug and play. These fit into the socket just like these standard bulbs do. They do have a capacitor that comes attached in the wiring, so you don't have to add anything external. They also come with a little bit of hardware to install them, so you know it's high quality. And I really hope these are bright enough to make them better than the cheap LEDs that I got, while still making it where the capacitor is not 300 degrees. So we'll see how these work out. I do have to take the grill off to get to the high beam bulbs. If you're just taking out the low beam bulbs, you can do that without removing the grill, so I'll do that first and put these halogen bulbs back in, and after that I'll take the grill off and get all these new LED bulbs installed, and hopefully I'll be able to throw all these away and have a great solution for the upgraded lights on my truck. So let's get into it. I'll go ahead and take out that mess that I've got in there now and put those halogen bulbs back in. So to install a halogen or even an LED bulb into the low beam headlights, you can just stick this in the slot with the tabs lined up. There are 3 tabs. The top one is smaller than the other 2. So these really can only go in one way. But if you turn it to the side a little bit and just wiggle it around until it seats in there real well, then you can turn it so that the connector is facing straight down and that is locked in there. So now I can just attach the electrical connector, and changing out the low beam bulbs is really that easy. So real quick, I'll just show you what those look like and why I don't like them. So you can see they've got a yellowish tint to them. They're not very bright, and I've got a wiring issue right now. My passenger side light keeps going out. It actually blows the bulb up after about 2 weeks of putting a new bulb in. So I wanted to get them a little bit brighter, and the high beams really aren't much brighter. And I really just wanted an updated look with these lights and hopefully get them a little brighter. So yes, the low beams are easy to install. You can get to those really easily. The high beams are a different story. I'm gonna have to take off the grill and get to these headlight lamps, take the whole assembly off, and get both lights in that way. So to get this grill off, I've just got some screws to take off. There's 1 screw in each corner up top. There's another right here on each side. So I'll take all 4 of those off. And there are a couple more inside the grill. There's one right here, and then a couple behind the turn signal lights here. These are all 7mm screws on my truck, so I'm just gonna use a 7mm socket on my drill to get all those out. Alright, and I did get all the screws out to get this grill off. There are the 4 on top, the one in the center here, and then when you take the turn signal lights out, there's a clip underneath that you just pull up on this clip and it releases the grill from this bottom section here. After you've got all that off, there is one last clip at the bottom of the center of the grill down here. I can feel it right through here and I can see it from here. It is right down there. So I need to release that clip and that'll free the grill up. You can also unscrew this bottom section here. It's got a few screws, one's in each corner. There's another one over here, one right there, and one right there, and then the one in the center there. That one's really hard to get to. I'm hoping I can just release this clip and that'll allow me to get this off without having to take those 5 screws out. So it's a little difficult to see, but I've got a tiny pry tool and I can get that wedged in here and pry up on it and release that last clip. I'm sure there's a better way to do it than this, but this is how I got it off. I had to set my camera down to get 2 hands in there to do that. But with that release, the whole grill can come off. And now I can see these headlight lenses. I could probably get these out with the grill like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove these bulb wiring harnesses so that I can take this light out and get the grill all the way off so that I can get to both of those headlight lamps. And it's raining pretty good right now, but I gotta leave my garage open so I got enough room to work on the front of this truck. And there's one last bulb harness to get out on each side. It's for this tiny little turn signal bulb here. You just turn it to the side and take it out. And with both of those out, now everything is disconnected and I can get this whole grill off. So I'll put all these bulbs inside the grill and then I can just lift it straight off. And there we go. That was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. It's really not too bad, just a lot of screws and a lot of things to disconnect. I'm sure you could probably do this without taking the grill all the way off, but I want to take these all the way off so that I can get to the harnesses for the high beam bulbs. It's just got 4 screws. They're 10mm screws. There's one in the bottom here, one in this corner, one in that corner, and that one that's all covered up with a mud dauber nest. So I'm going to clean this one off with my pry tool. Hopefully it's not all rusted out. So there we go. I got that one exposed. I'll go ahead and get these 4 screws off, and then I'll be able to get to the high beam bulbs. This one's a little tight, so I'm gonna use a ratchet to take it off. All right, and there's the last one, and the whole thing is out. At this point, I'm just gonna leave this on here and just put the new bulbs in the sockets. You can take this whole thing off, but you'd need to move all the wiring harnesses through and remember how to put them back through. So to me, it's just easier to go ahead and leave it here, take these off, replace the bulbs, and put the new ones in. So again, the high beam bulb is 9005. So I'll get that one in here first. Put it in and turn it until it locks. This capacitor is gonna have to go on this side, and then I'll connect the harness. And all of this is gonna have to stay back here, so that may be why they included zip ties. So I will put one of these zip ties through here, and I'll zip tie the wiring and the capacitor to this housing. And that looks pretty good, nothing fancy, but it's at least gonna keep it out of the way. And I'll cut off the rest of this with some side cutters. And I'll go ahead and remind you that you can never have too many pairs of side cutters. I have probably 4 or 5, and this is the only one that I could find right now. And so I'll get the low beam bulb in here. One of these notches is smaller than the other 2, and the smaller notch is at the top here on mine. So I'll push this in, get it seated really well, and then once you can turn it and lock it, you know that it's in place. I'll connect the wiring connector. And this one might not need to be zip tied because I can fit everything snug in this little pocket here. And that way that's still loose and I can get to it in case I need to switch out the low beam bulbs and I won't have to take the grill off to do it. I imagine I could always cut the zip tie at that point, but I don't know where it's going to be sitting when I get this back on. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And so with both of those installed and wired up and everything looks good, I am going to go ahead and try to screw this back in. And I can tell that this is sitting flush, but you just want to make sure that you didn't pinch any of the wires that are hanging out. So I'll slowly spin these back on and make sure that they're not going to be stripped. All right, and with all 4 of those reattached, I'm ready to test out the lights and make sure that they work. And I think those look a lot better already. So they're white and they look a lot better than the old halogen bulbs, but they're significantly brighter. And the high beams are a lot brighter as well, and the color looks a lot better too. So now it's really just rinse and repeat with this side, so I'll go ahead and get this one off and get the new bulbs in. All right, now that I know all the lights work, I can go ahead and put the grill back on and get these turn signal lights back in there. So I'll get all this put back together and then we'll see what they look like. I really didn't have to use a lot of tools, but I will link some of this in the description. And with the grill back on, I can drive it around. I'm gonna wait till it gets dark outside and we'll see how the lights look. And now that the sun's going down, I thought I'd do a comparison. So this is what the old headlights look like. And a quick side-by-side comparison with a new LED bulb on the driver's side and a halogen bulb on the passenger side. You can see it's a lot brighter, and there's an even bigger difference the further away I get. And a comparison of the two beams on my garage door. You can see right where the LED bulb is, and you can barely tell where the halogen bulb is. And then here are both LED bulbs. So these are significantly brighter than the halogen bulbs. You can clearly see where both beam patterns are at on my garage door. And I think the color looks way better too. So I'm really happy with these. They look a lot better and the brights are a lot brighter too. So I think these look really good. I'm happy with them. All right, so some final takeaways. That was totally worth it. I like having upgraded lights with better color on my truck. They're a lot brighter, so that means safer. And I think that was definitely worth it. So I will link those in the description. I'll have a link to their website. You can get a 15% discount if you use the discount code BW15. That is on the Auxito website. I will also link an Amazon link for the headlights. The only one that I could find was the cool white color instead of the xenon white like I have. I don't know what the difference in color is going to look like, but I'm sure they're pretty close. So totally worth it. Huge upgrade, and I'm super happy with it. And if you're looking for good LED taillights, check out my video where I replaced my taillights with these LEDs. I like the way these look. I think they're pretty cool. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe to see more content on my truck, and I will catch you guys in the next video.